and thank you for joining me today for Real Estate, Religion, and You. Today we're going to be talking about a book I've written entitled Buy a Home with Your Section 8 Homeownership Voucher. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Dr. Sylvia Black, and I am the author of this book. How does the program work? Section 8 Homeownership Voucher. The Housing Choice Voucher, which is formally called Housing Choice Voucher Homeownership Program, allows families that are assisted under the HCV Housing Choice Voucher Program to use their voucher to buy a home and receive monthly assistance in meeting home ownership expenses. While the HCV home ownership regulations contemplate a down payment grant option where the PHA, Public Housing Authority, offers a single down payment assistance grant to the family instead of a monthly homeownership subsidy. Funding has not been appropriated for this purpose, and this regulatory provision has never been implemented. The HCV homeownership program is available only to families that have been admitted to the HCV program, and it is not offered by every public housing agency. Okay, PHAs, aka Public Housing Agency, have discretion to determine whether to implement the HCV homeownership program in their jurisdiction or not. To find a PHA in your area, contact Affordable Homes and Apartments at 716-401-8405. That's 716-401-8405. For contact information of all PHAs by state, get a copy of the book, which is available on barnesandnobles.com as well as lulu.com. Okay? Now, to participate in the HCV homeownership program, the HCV family must meet specific income and employment requirements. The employment requirement does not apply to elderly and disabled families. Be a first-time home buyer as defined in the regulation. Attend and satisfactorily complete the pre-assistance program and homeownership counseling programs required by the PHA, and meet any additional eligibility requirements set by the PHA. Of course, the purpose of the workshop of this pretty much a video is to get you to get a copy of the book so that you can get the details on what you need to know. To go around asking haphazardly to different organizations, do you offer this, do you offer that? They probably won't understand what you're saying because it's not something that's on the top of their list. So that's why it's better to be educated. If you want to sign up for any of my Zoom workshops, please message me on my YouTube channel, which is sblack3001, or you could email me at affordablehomesанdapartments@gmail.com. Okay, you can text me at 716-401-8405 if you're interested in participating in any one of the Zoom workshops. Okay, the program provides, the Section 8 Homeownership Voucher Program provides counseling to consumers on seeking financing, maintaining, renting, or owning a home. The program also addresses homelessness through counseling and assists homeowners in the need of foreclosure assistance. The Housing Counseling Assistance Program enables anyone who wants to or already does rent or own housing, whether through a government agency, state or local program, or regular private market, to get the counseling they need to make their rent or mortgage payments. Okay, and to be responsible tenant or owner in other ways. Okay, the counseling is provided by a government agency, okay, approved for counseling services. Now, the government also awards and grants approved housing counseling, cut that out. Okay, there's specific types of housing counseling agencies that are approved for the program. If you want to know who they are, you can contact Affordable Homes and Apartments, and let us guide you along the way. Only certain agencies that are approved by the government will you get credit for in terms of the certificate that will qualify you to participate in the housing counseling agency, the Housing Choice Voucher Program. Now, once you're approved, I mean, I can start showing you houses, way before you're approved, but it's not going to do you any good. You can't buy a house unless you're buying it without the Housing Choice Voucher Program. You can look at houses. I can educate you on how to locate a house that you would want. There are some houses that you can purchase that are in need of repair, where there's a two-step process, a two-loan process. Okay, not like I said earlier, not all PHAs participate in the Housing Choice Voucher Program, and not all mortgage companies participate in the financing for the Housing Choice Program. It's not a common program that's given out. It's something that's given, like, say you take the course, I introduce you to where you can get the course from, or you take the course through me, and then you actually go to the bank. We would want to be there with you, of course, so that we could, help you along the way, from start to finish. You don't want to just get any kind of house either, because if you get a house that's, not conducive to your needs. For example, you're a couple, you just got married, you got a little one, or even you have a little one on the way, or you got a 1-year-old, right? You want a house that's conducive to a growing family. You're planning on having more children, so you're going to want to grow. Okay, so in that case, I would say a 3-bedroom, perhaps even a 4-bedroom. But 3 bedrooms, usually houses come in 3 bedrooms. You might find some 2-bedroom houses. I don't like those. I'll stay away from those. I like a house with an attic and a basement, because then you can take the attic while the children are little. You can fix it up into a playroom, and then when they get older, and as the family continues to grow, when you have outgrown those 3 bedrooms that you have, now you can use the attic and convert that into put 2 more beds up there. Okay, so now you have room for 4 children, maybe more, depends on how many beds you put in the bedroom. Okay, and then if it gets to a point where after you have had the house for a certain amount of years, the children will probably be grown by then, or on their way to being grown, depending on how many children you have and what age span it is, will depend on whether you can actually buy another home. Okay, but not necessarily under this particular program. You might say, I want a 5-bedroom. Well, now you've saved up enough money. Now you can buy a house. You don't need the Housing Choice Voucher. You can just go ahead and buy yourself a house. Okay, but a lot of people would stay in the house. You can make room for it, because as the children grow up, they get older, and then they move out. You don't expect your 20 or 30-year-old to still be living with you, because they can then buy themselves a house under the same program. You see what I'm saying? So, now, you have, as a homeowner, you have specific obligations. A family participating in the homeownership voucher program of, the undersigned PHA must follow the rules listed, that they give you. These are some rules which may have to be updated, but this will give you like a general idea, of what you need to know in order to participate in the program. Okay, you will be required. For example, the PHA that you live in, they may or may not participate in the program. Okay, but it's best to be educated before you even go to them. But one thing that you must know is if they do participate in the program, you better believe they are going to be the ones to approve you or not, based on how you've been living in that, whether you've been violating the lease or whether you have not, whether you've, not violated the lease, whether you've gone along with the program, what kind of tenant you were, how you keep your house, because they have to inspect annually, and then the maintenance guys got to come up and fix. So when they come up, if they can't walk through the clothes, if you got clothes laying on you're sloppy and everything like that, that's not going to look too good on your housing resume, I would say. Okay, have you been a good tenant? Okay, even though you're only required to pay 30% of your specific percentage, I would say, because that varies, of your Section 8 rent, have you been paying your portion on time? Have you been a good tenant? Have you been a model tenant? Are you ready for home ownership right now? Or do you need a little bit more work? See, so you have to look at all of this, you know. You are going to be scrutinized by the company you work for. It's just like any landlord. When you move out of the house that you're living in, or out of the apartment that you're living in, that you're renting, and you give that landlord as a reference, they're going to say, hey, did she pay her rent on time? You know, was he a model tenant? Did he, did he live? Was he a decent tenant? Would you recommend him as a tenant here? You know what I'm saying? It's the same procedure, the same process. They're going to guide you. You know, you're expected to pay your percentage of the rent on time. You're expected to be a model tenant, because otherwise, how do you expect to become a homeowner, to keep your own home, to qualify for homeownership? All of this, you're going to be, once you move into a Section 8 homeownership, once you get that Section 8 homeownership voucher, you know that when you get it, they scrutinize you. They ask you thousands of questions, okay? And you have to be on point. You have to be on the ball. They're going to want to dig into your business, okay? And, nothing is private. And the same thing when you move in. You're still under scrutiny, okay? Just like any apartment, but more so with Section 8 because it's a government program. And when anything is ordained by the government, they're very strict and they're paper friendly, okay? And they keep track of what goes on. So you have to understand that, it's almost like you're enlisted in the military because, you be like, Heil Hitler kind of thing. You got to bounce to jump to the tune, baby. When they say jump, you got to say ha ha. Okay, otherwise you won't qualify. You can make mistakes along the way, but you can't be a person that is a continuous or habitual non-model tenant. At some point, you're expected to straighten up and fly right. Now let's hope that you will be one of those model tenants, and we will help you along the way. Affordable Homes and Apartments will help you every step of the way. That's what we're here for. Now, any information that the family supplies must be true and complete. Each family member's plus the PHA-approved live-in aid for rules associated with criminal activity or alcohol abuse must disclose and verify Social Security numbers, employer identification numbers, and a host and array of other information, including your bank account. They want to know how much money you got in the bank, how much money you make, how long you've been there. You're going to go under such scrutiny that you're going to have to be prepared. General public housing agencies that administer Section 8 tenant-based assistance has the choice whether to offer homeownership assistance as an option for qualified applicants and participants in the PHA's Housing Choice Voucher Program. The PHA may choose to make homeownership assistance available for any qualified applicant or participant, or to restrict homeownership assistance to families or purposes defined by the PHA. You see, so they have a choice of whether they want to offer it or not. And if they do offer it, they're pretty much in control. A lot of times they do, and a lot of times they don't. Most of the times they're in property management. They want to manage the buildings that they have, the apartments that they have. And they're so consumed with doing that. And some of them manage 2 buildings, at once. You're part-time here, part-time there. And it is a time-consuming effort to manage Section 8 building because you have a lot to deal with, and a lot of different personalities and a lot of people that you have to, to deal with. So, it can be, quite consuming. So for you to actually offer home ownership assistance as an extension of what you are already offering, subsidized apartments, you're really going to have your act together as a PHA. Not all PHAs even know about the program. So when you go and move into an apartment, you might want to ask them, do you participate in the Section 8 Home Ownership Voucher Program? If they don't, then, you will have to move somewhere else that does. Or they will have to actually get involved in it before you move so that you can then qualify to become a Section 8 Home Ownership Voucher participant. Okay, there are a lot of ins and outs and whatnot in base. Just because they don't participate, however, doesn't mean that you will not be eligible to receive the certificate and purchase your home under the program. But it is better that if they do participate in the program. See, that's why I say, you got to come to us, you got to come to the Zoom workshop, the seminars, it's going to be several weeks, because it's not something that you can, just like I can talk to you now for 30 minutes or whatever, and then you know everything you need to know. You get the book, you got to study the book. The book is very important because you can refer to it. When you come to my videos, you can look back on them, and whatnot, you can repeat them. Some people don't, it doesn't stick right away, so you have to listen to it over and over again or whatever. Or you have to learn it. It's like a course, like a training course. Section 8 homeownership voucher training. Because you have to learn. That's why I say it's not something that you can just do automatically overnight. We're going to teach you how to do it. We're going to show you. We're going to let you know how you're going to go about when you look for a house. What to look for. Okay, what things to think of in future. Because remember, when you buy a house under this program, don't even think about moving right away. You want to be in this house for at least 10 or 20 years. And maybe to the duration until you're going to be able to leave it to your children. You want something that you can leave to them. And then there are other programs available when you do become a senior that you can take advantage of as well. There are so many programs out there that you can take advantage of, but that a lot of people don't know. They're not advertised. Okay, not until we came along. Can I get some help up in here? Okay, now the voucher program is both for home buyers and for renters. Okay, administered through local public housing agencies. Okay, to be accepted into the homeownership voucher program, you need to be referred by your local PHA. And not all PHAs, as I said before, participate in the program. So it would be a good idea if you asked them when you moved in, or at any time after your residency, did you participate in the program? And if they don't, give us a call and we'll see if we can get them interested in the program. Okay? Even if your family meets the guidelines, it's a difficult process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. Okay? And anything could qualify you, anything could disqualify you. So you have to be willing to go the long haul. You can't be anxious. Okay, I would say, hey, you can even rent the house that you want to buy. And there's a possibility you could end up owning the home. But you say to yourself, hey, why would I want to own the home if I'm renting it? If I want to move, all I got to do is just move. Why? Because now you have a vested interest in the property. And there's a whole lot of financial advantages that you can take advantage of as a homeowner that you can't take advantage of as a renter. Yeah, you got to call the landlord up and tell them that there are repairs that are needed. But what happens when, if you're a homeowner, you would have to do that yourself. Yeah, that could be a downfall, but you'll have the money that you'll need to do it with when you're a homeowner. You don't have to call the landlord because it's your property. It's a vested interest. You can pretty much do 90% of what you want to do in the property. Okay, you can decorate it any way you want. There's a whole lot of things, but the main thing is for comfort and stability and finances. Comfort, stability, that's where the finances come in at. And, it's an array of advantages. I would say the advantages way outweigh the disadvantages. Okay, now, like I said, the book is available on Barnes & Nobles and Lulu.com. Get a copy of the book. Okay, and then it'll help explain. It's pretty thick. An overview of how the Section 8 homeownership program works. The PHA administration of the Section 8 homeownership program differs from the tenant-based rental program in many ways. Okay, for example, the housing, your rental voucher is used to pay your rent. The housing choice voucher is used to pay your mortgage. Okay, that's the only difference. One is for rental, one is for mortgage. Okay, they both go by similar percentages. However, some landlords choose. A landlord I used to work for, he used to want the entire money to come from Section 8. He didn't want a portion of it to come from tenant because then that part may not be paid. And he didn't, it didn't strike him that he could get more money in rent. So like say because most of the time it was a really decent rent anyway. That was before wages went up to the double digits. Minimum wage went up to double digits. Okay. And so, he used to want it to be pretty much, like say for example, if Section 8 pays $750, he could have gotten maybe $950 or $1,000, right? But he chose to get $750 because his money came directly from Section 8, and he didn't have to hassle with the tenant paying their portion. And the tenant didn't have to pay a dime. That was great. They loved it. Wonderful relationship. Okay. And but now that minimum wages went up and everything, landlords are charging an exorbitant amount of rent. And also rents have went up. Rental vouchers have went up. However, it's pretty much an equilibrium all the way around, because when minimum wage was a single digit, rents were lower. But now that minimum wage is a double digit, rents are higher. So it's like you're not really, getting anywhere unless you're living in a subsidized housing and you're working and you're making the double digit. Then you'll be able to save up some money if your rent is lower. Okay, but remember that your income is based on how much Section 8 you get. So if you get more money, if you work and get more money, then your Section 8 is lowered. Some people only get like $200 towards Section 8. Nevertheless, you're still getting Section 8. Don't look at it that as a disadvantage, because you still would qualify for a Section 8 homeownership voucher regardless of how much money is being paid by Section 8. The thing is that this money is being paid, and you're on the Section 8 program. So you have to try to look at the advantages rather than the disadvantages. It's a very interesting program, actually, and it's something that, a lot of people are taking advantage of. Imagine owning a home of your own, owning a home. I know people dream of it. You probably dismiss it out of your mind. You probably say, hey, you're probably thinking negative about it. And, why shouldn't you? Because, advantages have not been given to you, and none of us was born with a silver spoon in our mouths. We got to work for what we want. So the bottom line is that, yep, you're still going to have to work. Okay? Now, a home may be purchased under the home ownership option if at the time the PHA determines that the family is eligible to purchase the home. And the home ownership, see, this is a whole lot more work for the PHA. That's why a lot of them do not participate in the, home ownership. And a lot of times, you're not even going to ask them, do you participate in the home ownership voucher program? You could ask them at any time, do you participate? Now whether they're willing to give you information or not that's going to help you own a home, that's another story, because you have to remember they're dealing with property management. And the less problems they have with dealing with the property management aspect of it, the more time they'll have with dealing with the housing choice, the home ownership voucher program. Okay, now the PHA determines that the family is eligible to purchase the home with home ownership assistance. The home is either under construction or already existing. The home chosen by the family must pass an initial PHA Housing Quality Standards inspection, or called HQS. The HQS used for the Section 8 rental program is applicable to the home ownership program. In addition, the family must hire an independent professional home inspector to inspect the home selected by the family to identify physical defects and the condition of the major building system and components. A copy of the independent inspection report must be given to the PHA. The family and the PHA must determine if any pre-purchase repairs are necessary. And that's where it comes in. That's where I come in at when I show you houses and show you what to look for. I can teach you how to do your own inspection. That would minimize the inspector's work he has to do, because you already know. And you already know whether you want an inspector to come. You're going to have to pay that inspector to do that inspection. And the last time I checked, it was like, I don't remember. I'll tell you how much it is when I see you. But you're going to have to pay for it. So when you go in a house and you look at it and you inspect the house yourself, that doesn't count in terms of qualifying you, but you'll know what to look for. You'll say, is it worth it for me to hire the inspector? I already know there are defects. And these are defects that I don't want to have to deal with. Or you can say, hey, well, there's a two-step process loan. There's another kind of a loan that you can get that could actually fix up the house and purchase the house with one mortgage. It's a two-step kind of a mortgage, but it's a one-step process, And so, you say, well, hey, I already know what's wrong. Can I qualify for this house with this mortgage? Will the mortgage take care of it? How much would it be? Will I still qualify for the loan? All these kind of things. It's a little bit more work for you, but you might like the house. And you look at another house and you say, hey, well, this house is way too expensive. I can't even, so you don't even bother with that one, Or you look at a house and you see it's perfect on the outside. Do you want to inspect? Yes, you still want to inspect, because there could be little defects. When you move into a house, some things you don't bother to check. You don't turn the water on to see if there's hot water coming out. So a lot of times when you buy a house, even as a tenant, you don't go in the house and turn the water on. So is there hot water coming out of here? You got to wait about 5 minutes anyway for the water to turn hot. Is the gas furnace on or is it not? Is it gas or is it electric? What other defects are going on? But I show you what specific defects that you look for that could endanger your life, health, and or your family's life, health, or safety. Those are the kind of inspections that you want. You want to look at those kinds of things you want to know. Is this going to affect my life, my health, my safety, and the life, health, and safety of my children? One of the main things that you're going to look for is lead-based paint. You can't see that with the naked eye. How do you know there's lead-based paint? Well, Affordable Homes knows, and we can teach you and show you how to do that. That's part of the inspection. There was an inspection, a story about a young child who used to scrape he was on the porch and used to scrape it and put his hand in his mouth afterwards. Scrape the side of the porch and everything was painted, put his hand in his mouth. Went to the hospital, found out that he had lead-based paint poisoning. Okay, some of them survived, some of them didn't. You see what I'm saying? So, bottom line is, get yourself a home, contact Affordable Homes today so we can find out whether you can qualify for a home of your own. We can show you where you can go to get your home ownership education, your voucher. Get a copy of the book. That would be your first step, really. Attend the Zoom training that we're going to have. And don't forget that the family will enter into a contract of sale with the seller. Okay, with the broker, of course, hopefully you'll be going through a broker. You're going to need a broker because you're going to need somebody to hold your hand in the process. The family must secure its own financing, and we can show you how to do that. Where to go, the type of we study financing, because without the proper financing, you can't get a house. Okay, there's no prohibition against using the local, state, or community development block grants. There are grants available, actually. Down payment and closing cost assistance available, low interest rate loans, grant subsidies that can actually reduce the purchase price of the home. So there's a whole lot of advantages, a lot of money that comes in from various sources that can help you purchase your home. It could take 6 months, it could take a couple of years before you're actually in the home of your own. It doesn't have to be that long, it depends on you. So I want to thank you for joining me today. My name is Sylvia Black, and I am the author of the book, Buy a Home with Your Section 8 Home Ownership Voucher. And I want to thank you for joining me today. And holla at a sister. I'll see you next time. Peace out. I get paid.